The Rebels will return to the Vaught tomorrow for their homecoming game against the ULM Warhawks.
There's much excitement surrounding the game, but coming up, we'll show you that there's a lot of enthusiasm around the rest of the festivities, too.
Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Madison Scarpino.
And I'm Maddie Sabourin.
Senior Hallie Gillum was named Homecoming Queen last Tuesday and will be at the top of the homecoming parade tonight.
NewsWatch reporter Nadja Jauregui has more in the circle to get a live interview with Hallie before the parade. Nadja?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Homecoming Queen Hallie Gillum. Hallie, thank you so much for meeting with me here today.
Thank you all so much for having me.
So, besides all the bells and whistles, what does it really mean to be Homecoming Queen?
So, I think traditionally, Homecoming Queen has been more of, a title rather than a position that people have the autonomy to make an impact on campus with. And this year, I really wanted to change that, just because we don't have necessarily like a tangible platform like a Miss Ole Miss or a Mr. Ole Miss does. Right. Doesn't mean that we can't use our position to do something influential on this campus. So really what I'm aiming to do and what it means to be Homecoming Queen to me is to be like an advocate for both those corners of campus that don't always get reached out to, that don't always know everything that's going on campus, and for student organizations so that they feel like they're being broadcasted to a wider network of students. So what I'm planning on doing is working really, really hard with some of our campus organizations, the Center for Inclusion perhaps, and a couple other organizations like that to make sure that the thousands of students that aren't our normal demographic for, the activities that we do, Rebel-thon, big event, those kinds of things, to make sure that they feel like they can get involved as well and that they know what's going on. They're staying updated and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's sort of my platform a little bit, but yeah.
And I'm sure that there must have been a lot of behind-the-scenes work that went into running for Homecoming Queen.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the process that you went through?
So it's kind of funny. Originally, I had some people talking to me about it in the spring, and I was like, no, I really don't think I want to do that. Campaigns on this campus can just get to be a lot of pressure, and with law school applications coming out and things like that, that really, really overwhelmed me to think about. But as I started my summer and started talking to more and more people about it, and more people brought it up to me and talked about, their experience on this campus and what they love about Ole Miss and what they don't love all the time about Ole Miss, that's when I decided to run. But as far as planning goes, I met with a bunch of people over the summer, and we started having fun with it and talking about, what I wanted to do to make this campaign mine. And that's sort of where I came up with like the communications position of a Homecoming Queen. And so after that, then once the school year started, just kind of asking people to be on your campaign. And it really wasn't until our confirmation meeting or something, confirmation meeting, that I realized that I was running unopposed, and that added like an extra layer to the whole process. Right. For sure. So,
well, thank you so much, Hallie, for meeting with me today.
Yeah, of course.
I look forward to seeing you out there.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'm reporting live from the Circle, NewsWatch, Nadja Jauregui, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Thanks, Nadja. And there is still time to grab your spot along the parade route if you aren't already there. The parade will start in the Circle, travel down University Avenue to South Lamar, and around the square ending on North Lamar. After the parade, there will be a pep rally including some football players, the Ole Miss Rebelettes and cheerleaders, and the Pride of the South Marching Band. The parade is expected to last about an hour.
And tomorrow, the Ole Miss football team will take on the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks in a game that the Rebels are expected to win. Sports Watch reporter Skye Spiehler is in the studio to give us a preview of tomorrow's matchup. Skye?
Thanks, Maddie. Ole Miss will take on Louisiana Monroe tomorrow for homecoming weekend. The Rebels definitely weren't at their best last Saturday. The Rebels had 17 penalties against LSU. The wide receivers had several drops. These are things that Matt Luke will try to clean up tomorrow against ULM. Monroe's lost their last 3 games. Quarterback Jordan Ta'amu should rebound from last week's performance when the Tigers held him to just 178 yards passing. He should have an easier time against a ULM team that's given up 36 points per game. Defensively, Ole Miss has just been devastated by injuries. The already shaky Rebel defense will have to make up for the loss of C.J. Moore. He's out indefinitely with a torn pectoral. He's the 3rd member of the Rebel secondary to suffer a serious injury this season. Montrell Custis and Jalen Jones are out for the year. The matchup against the Warhawks should be a good opportunity for Coach Wesley McGriff to try to get his ducks in a row before 6 straight SEC games. Ole Miss is a 22.5-point favorite. We ought to be able to cover the spread this weekend and expect a big performance from Scotty Phillips running behind that powerful O-line. Madison, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Skye. And if you're headed to the game tomorrow, there are multiple parking lots and shuttles open. The famous double-decker bus will run starting at 1 p.m. from the square to campus. Fans can also park at the F&C Park on Old Sardis Road, and the Jackson Avenue Center will be bused to campus. There is no parking on Chucky Mullins due to ongoing construction. There will also be city taxis operating at the intersection of Old Taylor and University. Uber and Lyft are also available. And once you're on campus in the Grove, you'll most likely notice some increased security. An email sent out this week by Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Dr. Brandy LeBlanc, informed students and faculty that fan behavior at home games hasn't lived up to the university's standards. In order to avoid fights and offensive language on signs, more police officers will be on hand, and signs with OPD and UPD numbers on them will be scattered around campus. If you see any fights or offensive language, you're encouraged to call OPD and UPD.
The Croft Institute for International Studies is celebrating its 20th anniversary. The institute was started after Joseph Bancroft donated $60 million to start a program that promoted international policy and study abroad. The Croft Institute has had its first students in 1998 and since then has had 520 students graduate. They hosted several events today to celebrate their anniversary and will conclude tonight with a reception. The Croft Institute looks forward to building on their success in the coming years. The National Pan-Hellenic Council is hosting its 5th annual Homecoming Step Show tonight at 7 p.m. in the Tad Pad. The 7 participating NPHC sororities and fraternities will compete against one another for cash prizes. The participating organizations pick their own theme for their performance, ranging from TV shows to sports. The show gives the organizations a chance to show off their stepping, strolling, and chanting talents. The event is open to the public, and they look forward to a great show.
The University Museum is getting by with a little help from friends and is gearing up for the annual Harvest Supper. Volunteer organization Friends of Museum will host this 8th annual event to raise funds and awareness for the museum and historic houses. The supper is set for 6:30 p.m. on October 18th at Roanoke. This event includes an art auction that will be held online until October 17th before transitioning to a silent auction. The supper is currently sold out, but you can be added to the wait list by contacting Kate Wallace at museum@olemiss.edu or by calling 662-915-7073. The City of Water Valley will be without power all day on November 3rd. The Water Valley Electric Department will make needed improvements to their system. The Tennessee Valley Authority will also make improvements to their system. All customers who get power from the city will experience the outage. The department sent out notices to its customers asking that they make arrangements in advance.
Students in a poor area of the Mississippi Delta are receiving higher-level science classes via online lessons. U.S. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos attended advanced placement physics classes in Lexington, Mississippi yesterday. DeVos wants to promote innovative approaches to teaching. This program was started by the Global Teaching Project and provides students the opportunity to receive instructions from top universities, including Yale. The Global Teaching Project has programs in 11 Mississippi districts with plans to add 5 more.
Coming up, we'll have the latest on Brett Kavanaugh and how a recent update may spur his confirmation.
And stay tuned to see the intense situation one police chopper caused at a Penn State tailgate. But first, Kayla White has your first look at the current conditions.
Good evening, Rebels. It's homecoming weekend in Hotty Toddy Land as we prepare to beat the Warhawks. As you can see, it might be fall, but it doesn't quite feel like it yet. We got a warm and sunny weekend coming up. Moving on to our radar image, you can see there's not much going on. Clear skies as we prepare for a big game day weekend. Now, if you stick with me for Storm Watch, I'll let you know if you could keep that summer wardrobe for another week.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Here she comes. I, Krista, take you, Jamie, to be my wife.
When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said she won't be taking you in as a client.
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
We've crossed another threshold in what has been an incredibly contentious Supreme Court confirmation process after a key procedural vote took place on the Senate floor this morning.
Judge Brett Kavanaugh has cleared the key procedural hurdle, sending his nomination to a final Senate vote this weekend. But whether he will be ultimately confirmed as a Supreme Court justice is still to be determined. Key votes to watch include Maine Senator Susan Collins, who has not yet announced her final decision.
I will be voting yes on proceeding to the final confirmation vote, and I will announce my intentions on how to vote later today.
Kavanaugh also received a boost from Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, who also voted yes but tells reporters he's still undecided on the final vote. This entire nomination process has been highly contentious. Kavanaugh was accused of sexual misconduct by multiple women, including Christine Blasey Ford, who accuses he pinned her down at a bed at a high school party in the early 80s and tried to forcibly remove her clothes. Kavanaugh has denied those claims and in an op-ed published Friday morning acknowledged that his explosive testimony before the Senate raised concerns about his temperament, saying in part, quote, "I was very emotional last Thursday, more so than I have ever been. I might have been too emotional at times. I know that my tone was sharp, and I said a few things I should not have said. I hope everyone can understand that I was there as a son, husband, and dad." Senators are now expected to cast their final votes as soon as Saturday.
And earlier this afternoon, Senator Collins informed reporters that she will vote to confirm Kavanaugh, most likely giving the judge enough votes to become the next Supreme Court justice. And the protest against Kavanaugh continued outside the Supreme Court today. Protesters also gathered outside of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's house and staged a confirmation kegger this morning. The protesters mocked Kavanaugh by bringing cans of beer, signs with his fraternity letters, and wore sunglasses and hats while chanting. Celebrities Amy Schumer and Emily Ratajkowski were among the 300 protesters who were arrested on Capitol Hill.
New unemployment numbers indicate the rate of joblessness in the U.S. is the lowest it's been in decades. According to the new numbers from the Department of Labor, the employment fell to 3.7% in September. That's the lowest rate in 49 years since December of 1969. 134,000 jobs were added last month. Still, that's below expectations and below the monthly average for the year. The Labor Department says Hurricane Florence impacted the results for the month. A suspect has been identified in the deadly ambush shooting of 7 officers Wednesday in South Carolina. The suspect was identified as a 74-year-old Vietnam War veteran. Sergeant Terrence Caraway died of his wounds Wednesday night, and 4 officers remain hospitalized. The Florence City Police Department says that the officers were pinned down by the shooter and were unable to be rescued for over half an hour. 2 GoFundMe accounts have been set up in honor of the shooting victims and the family of the fallen officer.
Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke has been found guilty of second-degree murder today. This follows the murder of Laquan McDonald from a fatal shooting in 2014. Van Dyke has also been found guilty of 16 counts of aggravated battery, but not guilty of official misconduct. Van Dyke was originally charged with first-degree murder and is the first Chicago police officer with this charge since 1980. Video of the shooting led to protests, a Justice Department civil rights investigation, mayor criticism, and forced the police superintendent to leave.
This year's Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to Dr. Denis Mukwege and Nadia Murad for their efforts to end sexual violence as a weapon of war and armed conflict. Mukwege and his staff have treated thousands of sexual violence survivors in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. He has earned the nickname the man who mends women. Murad was abducted by ISIS in Iraq in 2014 and held as a sex slave. Now she is a UN Goodwill Ambassador helping survivors of human trafficking. The Nobel Committee says that she has shown uncommon courage in recounting her own sufferings. More than 300 people were nominated for the Peace Prize. Some football fans in Pennsylvania are questioning state police after its chopper sent PSU tailgating tents flying. Police say fans were getting out of hand outside Beaver Stadium Saturday and refused to leave, so they sent a state helicopter to command people to leave. You see the chopper fly low above the crowd. It then turns and flies even lower, launching tent poles, tarps, and debris flying through the air. One fan said it was a girl's face cut by some debris. Police say the helicopter was deployed as another tool to compel the group to disperse and curb dangerous and unruly behavior.
Maddie, could you imagine if something like that happened in the Grove?
Yeah, I do not think that I would want chandeliers flying everywhere.
Me either. Hopefully this weather this weekend will not be quite as extreme as that, though.
Up next, Kayla White will let us know if we can expect clear skies and cool weather for this game day weekend in her extended forecast.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that? This one? No. Were you texting and driving again? Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
Disaster tips from the objects left behind.
My home wasn't insured, but you can check your insurance policy now to make sure you're covered. Oh.
My savings are lost, but you can put money aside and plan for unexpected disaster costs.
We're lost forever, but you can scan important documents now so they survive.
For more tips on how to prepare, visit ready.gov.
Good evening and happy homecoming weekend, Rebels. We're sitting at a sunny 86, light winds and no rain in these clouds. Looking at our satellite image, as you can see, the only activity that we have going on in Oxford is in the Grove. Moving on to our current temperatures. All right, moving on to our 5-day forecast. Back to our satellite image again, you can see that the only activity we have going on is in the Grove. Moving on to our current temperatures. You can see that South Haven is at 87, Oxford right below it at 86, Holly Springs there with South Haven and Corinth, and Tupelo topping us off at 89. Moving on to tomorrow, we got South Haven, Holly Springs, and Oxford at 88, Corinth at 90, along with Tupelo. Looking at tonight's forecast, it's going to be, looking at tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be nice and hot, perfect for a game day weekend, mostly sunny, low chance of rain, light winds, and then tonight's forecast. Moving on to our 5-day, Sunday and Monday, we got higher temperatures. It's going to go down a little bit. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're going to even out. Okay.
Thanks, Kayla. Coming up, see what award the Ole Miss quarterback is up for.
Plus, postseason baseball is underway. We'll let you know who the winner of those games are up next.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly. and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Welcome to Sports Watch. I'm Skye Spiehler. The Ole Miss soccer team took on Mizzou last night. The Rebels came in with a lot of momentum after a 1-1 draw against 5th-ranked A&M last Friday. The Rebels dominated the first half with 9 shots on goal, but weren't able to score. They went into the break down by a goal, and early in the second half, Ella Frischnick headed in a Haley Stackpole corner kick to tie it up at 1. The Rebs defense gave up a few chances down the stretch, but Marnie Merritt handled them well. The Tigers finally scored in the 85th minute to win that one 2-1. The Rebels softball team started fall ball with two blowout wins on September 30th. Our own Hallie Ames caught up with the team to get their thoughts on this season.
The Ole Miss softball team has kicked off their fall ball schedule with large wins against both North Alabama and Itawamba Community College. With 12 new faces on the team, sophomore Abby Lantham can't help but be excited to experience postseason with them.
It's going to be their first time experiencing it. And I know my first experience was like awesome. So like I was so giddy, I was so excited, and so I'm so excited for them to be excited. Like I'm so excited for all 12 of them to get to experience like what I got to experience.
With only 3 seniors, the Rebels are a young team with big potential. Senior Brittany Finney reflects on what being a leader and being a senior should look like as her last year calling herself a Rebel.
I've said this before, I want to be the senior I needed my freshman year. You know, I think that's really important. I think not only on the field, but off the field, it's good to just, be there for everybody. I want to be able to invite all these girls to my wedding and have everybody show up and just love on me, and so that's what I want to do this year.
With a record of 32-25, the team has to focus on the upcoming season. But for one senior, this is just the start to a professional career. Kylan Becker has been the only Ole Miss softball player in history to be selected for the United States national team.
Because there's not many college girls that were on the team, and it's just an honor to be able to play with some of the people that you look up to all the time. You know, I got to play alongside people that I watched as a little girl, so it was just awesome to see that I'm on the same caliber as them. And then when I got invited again this year, it's just a really big honor as well because this tryout is for the Olympics team, so it'd be awesome. And I think only 9 college people are invited, so it's just an honor.
The Ole Miss softball team has kicked off their season, and you can catch them again here tonight at 7 p.m. They take the field again Sunday at 4 p.m. Both of those games will be happening behind me at the Ole Miss softball complex. Hallie Ames, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Jordan Ta'amu is in the running for the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. The Unitas Award is given annually to a senior or 4th-year quarterback and is based on character, academics, and of course, performance on the field. Ta'amu makes up a list of 30 candidates. He's completed 99 of 163 passes for more than 1,500 yards, with 10 touchdowns and 4 picks this season. Ta'amu's thrown for 400 yards twice already and has a good chance to make it number 3 tomorrow. If Ta'amu were to win the award, he'd attend a ceremony in Baltimore on December 7th. The rape allegations against Cristiano Ronaldo have grown increasingly concerning. Accuser Catherine Mayorga says brought the issue to police in 2009 and dropped the case after receiving nearly $400,000 from Ronaldo. Ronaldo is one of 3 athletes Nike assigned lifetime deals. His contract includes a morality clause that would void the contract if the allegation made were found to be true. Both Ronaldo's club team and Portugal head coach Fernando Santos have issued statements supporting the star player. The Rockies and the Brewers played their first game of their divisional series last night. The game was tied at 2 runs apiece in the bottom of the 10th when third baseman Mike Moustakas hit a walk-off RBI single for Milwaukee. They're up in that series 1-0. Out in LA, the Dodgers put it on the Braves. Yu Chun-jin pitched 7 scoreless innings with 8 strikeouts and just 4 hits. The Dodgers were potent at the plate and hit 3 homers en route to a 6-0 win over Atlanta. LA leads that series 1-0, and first pitch of Game 2 is at 8:37 tonight. Terrific Tom Brady made history last night when he became the 3rd quarterback ever to throw for 500 touchdowns. Brady picked the Colts defense apart in his first game with both Rob Gronkowski and Julian Edelman since 2016. Touchdown number 500 came on a 34-yard strike to recently acquired Josh Gordon. Andrew Luck and the Colts looked like they might make a run late in the 3rd, but Tom Brady did what Tom Brady does and led the Pats offense to 2 fourth-quarter touchdown drives. The win put the Pats at 3-2 on the year, and the Colts fall to 1-4. That's all for sports. Make sure to follow us at Twitter_UM for live updates on tomorrow's game. Madison, Maddie, back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Skye. Up next, find out one interesting journey a meteorite took and how much money it's actually worth.
And stay tuned to see why this next story rocks and why you'll adore it.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
One rock apparently took a long trip through space to spend 30 years propping open a door in Michigan. Central Michigan University says this 22-pound rock is a meteorite. But not just any meteorite, it's the 6th largest recorded find in Michigan.
The meteorite is worth an estimated $100,000. A man says he inherited the rock when he bought a farm in 1988. The previous owner even told him at the time the meteorite fell to the earth in the 1930s. The Smithsonian Institution and a mineral museum in Maine are now looking into purchasing the meteorite for display.
I really hope a meteorite falls next to me so I can sell it for that much. Maybe in the Grove. What's that weather looking like?
Maybe I'll check the next rock I find.
Yes, yes. How's that? What's the weather going to be like for that? Is there going to be any meteorites dropping out there?
I don't think too soon, but you can never be too vigilant.
All right. That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Madison Scarpino.
Be sure to join us here again Monday night at 5 and on NewsWatchOleMiss.com. I'm Maddie Sabourin. Thank you and good night.